Hey everybody, it's Connor. Just going to give a quick intro to this episode here real quick as we chit chat. Dustin and I were recording another episode and we just kind of went down a rabbit hole of nostalgia and other things related to high school and aging. A lot more of an informal chat. It was really great, but it just has nothing to do with what we were talking about. So I pinched it off and I'm going to let it be its own episode. So this is just us catching up and just being human beings who, for once, aren't analyzing movies. We're just being friends talking on a podcast, which is, after all, what this show is supposed to be. So if you're only here to listen to movie reviews, there's not one in this one. But if you enjoy our dynamic as co-hosts and as friends on the show, then it's full of just us messing around and having fun. So enjoy that. And we'll be back, I guess, the next time with another episode. Cheers. I just want to use a laser pointer.
Yeah.
Do you remember when those were like the most popular? Like when we were in high school?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God. And then like they do the thing with like, wait, look, and you chalk you do the erasers and it's like, no, shine through the chalk. And it's like,
get the beamage. Yeah.
It's like a pew, pew.
Do you remember the really cool people that used to do it at the movie theater and they would like shine it on the screen and everyone would be like, and he'd be like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm hilarious.
I don't know if you had this, but when I was in high school, I feel like we've talked about this before. But like when I was in high school, it was right around the time that like you started learning about, oh, there's a frequency that you can't hear that you can't hear if you're above 25, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
And so someone got that as like a ringtone or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then you start messing, you start playing it during class or whatever. And
yeah,
I can't remember what it was anyway. I'm so old.
Well, do you remember the Kroger downtown in our college town?
I was like, I don't have a Kroger.
It had those. Do you remember this? Had the units out front that would do that. So it would deter young people from hanging out and loitering.
Oh, and wow. So, that's right.
Yeah. It was just like a high pitched frequency. Every time I go down there, I'm like, I want to go see if I can still hear it. Like, I just want to go. And I never do it because I'm a little bit afraid that I won't. But like, I'm not supposed to be able to hear it anymore. But I want to be able to hear it.
This has not occurred to me. I just turned 35 and it has not occurred to me consciously until you just said that, from now until I actually turn 30, that if Logan's Run was real, they'd be trying to kill us right now.
You'd be on the run.
I'd be on the run.
Hooper's Run.
Hooper's Run. But just the idea that, like, by the standards of some science fiction writer, whenever that was written, we are not optimally aged anymore.
Yeah, that's correct.
This frequency will not deter. You'll walk to Kroger, you won't hear it, and you're like, I guess I can shop here still. Oh.
I'm going to loiter anyway.
Yeah, at least there's no hoodlums here to hassle me.
Pretend I can hear it.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of...
so loud. Oh.
I was just saying it's a bunch of 57-year-old guys out front going...
Oh, you feel that noise?
You hear that? Oh, that's annoying, man.
That's so crazy. Wearing like a sideways cap.
Yeah. How do you do, fellow kids?
Remember the 80s? I mean, we're older.
Some 22-year-old is like, you don't hear that, do you, old man?
Yeah.
I don't hear it.
You're weak. You're pathetic.
This sounds like a Family Guy sketch. You don't hear that. And then Peter's just like, no.
And Brian and Stewie are rolling around the ground. Oh. Make it stop. Oh God. like the Ipecac sketch is still their best. That's still the best joke in that entire show's history.
Yeah, maybe so.
You know what's crazy? I came across like a thing on YouTube, and they were interviewing the main voice cast, like Seth MacFarlane and Alex Borstein, Mila Kunis, Seth Green. I sent you all that picture of Seth Green because he looks so different now. Yeah, it was from that. And then they were like celebrating like 25 years of Family Guy or something, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And I realized in the course of that interview that like Seth MacFarlane has not run the show in like 10 years.
Yeah. Right.
Like at least 10 years, maybe even 15.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, like it makes sense because he's been doing like, you know, whatever, the Orville and all these movies and stuff. But like, it never occurred to me. I didn't realize until recently, like he stepped down as showrunner and was just like, yeah, like keep the show going. I'm just going to play Peter and then I'm going to go do other stuff. Yeah. And it's like, that's crazy. Cause then like there's two guys in that podium with them. I was like, oh, these are the guys who run the show. Who are you? You know? Yeah, right. Yes. I remember when the TED series came out, he was doing, you know, press junket for it. And I remember they were asked him like, what's your current involvement with Family Guy? And he's like, nothing. Like I go in and read the lines that they write for me. And they're like, do you give notes? And he goes, no, I don't. Wow. And he said, I really respected this though. He said, when I asked whatever his name is, who runs the show now, when I asked him to run the show, that's me putting my faith that he's going to run the show. If I go in behind him and start micromanaging him, then why did I even appoint him as showrunner? Then I'm showrunner. He's like, so I trust him. He delivers me the script. He records it in his house. He doesn't even go in. Well, I think they started doing that during COVID. I think they sent them all. So like no one has to leave their home now to do it. That's nuts. Wake up, it's crazy. Go to the other room, go be Peter Griffin, collect millions of dollars, and then like go do 6 other projects with your day. Yeah. Well, and that's what he was saying. It's like, I have to put all of my focus in whatever I'm doing. He's like, I'm not one of those people that can split my focus. So he was like, I'm trusting them to run Family Guy. I'm going to go run Orville or TED or whatever it is. Yeah. Because like, that's what I have to do. And so he'll go and run it and do those things. Wow. And just like in on a lunch break or whatever, like go record Peter or Stewie or whatever, Brian. And there you go. Like, again, collect your money. I saw something recently that was like how much money Mila Kunis makes every year on that show. And God, that's a lot now. It's a lot of money. And I'm like, she called it like, she was like, it's the best gig I've ever had. Yeah. Like she loves it because she was like, the ease and the amount of money. Cause you know, every year there's like maybe one Meg centric episode. Yeah. And other than that, she does like a line per episode. Yeah. And so like she'll go in and she'll read, you know, like 3 episodes in a day. Yeah. And those 3 episodes, like she's making like $300,000 or something. Yeah. For a day's worth of work. Yeah. Reading 3 sentences. In her own voice, like not even like that, not really much, not like even like a character, really. Yeah, yeah. And they asked her. I saw you again. It was some interview, and they were like, "Do you think you'd ever leave the show?" And she's like, "Why would I ever? What the fuck would I do that? That'd be the dumbest thing. Stupid idiot. Why would I ever leave that show?" And similarly, they asked Seth MacFarlane, like, "When do you think it'll end?" And he's like, it's not gonna, like, I don't think it will. Like, I have no plans on ending it. Yeah. Like, why would I do that? And it's like, yeah, I mean,
why would you? There's literally no reason. And there's an argument to be made that Simpsons or whatever, like eventually you run out of stories. Okay. I'm making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And people are still laughing.
Right.
So I'll drive the thing into the ground. I don't care.
If Fox keeps renewing it. What's the status of like American Dad and the Cleveland Show? Are those done or are those still
Cleveland
on the air?
Show's done. But American Dad is still going. Yeah.
Wow.
So the Cleveland Show, I haven't followed Family Guy in a long time.
Yeah,
but I do know that the Cleveland Show was canceled. And so they rolled him back into Family Guy and they made an episode out of it. Like he moves back to Quahog. And
was he just not in Family Guy while he was on the Cleveland Show?
Yeah, he wasn't in Family Guy. They'd bring him back like every once in a while for like a one-off.
But obviously he didn't live there.
He didn't live there. He had moved away and he was not in the show. And then they would and then they brought him back. It was like a whole thing. And if I remember right, there was some moment where like they come back and Stewie's like, oh, it didn't work out, did it? You know, it's like, oh, it got canceled, and it's like, one of those things. And like they completely break the fourth wall about it. But
that's funny.
But all the cast from the Cleveland Show stayed on because now they all appear in Family Guy.
Interesting. Yeah, like his family.
They just don't do much, but they're there. And like his wife and his kids and all, like
that's funny.
Came back with him. But now,
what if he just moved back without
them? But they did recently recast him in all of the shuffle of having somebody voice a character whose
race they are not. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
and I forget the guy's name that originated the character, but
it's Mike Henry. I remember that.
Mike Henry. Yes. Yeah. So Mike Henry stepped down, and they found another guy. It's almost indistinguishable.
Really?
Like he does so. It's such a good sound alike.
Sure. But, you can't just have him being like, "Hey, I'm Cleveland.
I'm Cleveland now.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm doing it right now. All right.
You are. You should not be voicing Cleveland.
Okay. Well, I won't.
Okay.
I'm voicing Cleveland, the version 2 Cleveland.
That's even worse.
Cleveland.
Race swapped Cleveland.
Hey, I'm Cleveland.
Family Guy's been on forever, dude. When you factor in the cancellation and the revival and
yeah. I remember when it was like, I guess it would have been like right when I got to high school, like 2003, 2004 is when it was becoming big again.
Yep.
And so then like I started getting those little skinny DVDs, and like we were watching it at running camp and whenever we were just all the time. And I remember just thinking like it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard. It was just the funniest jokes, the funniest references. I remember just thinking like it was the funniest thing I had ever seen.
I'll do you one better. So this is outdated tech alert.
Okay.
When I was in high school, one of my friends had the PSP, the PlayStation Portable.
Yeah.
And the PSP ran on what they called UMD discs. They were like this big around, and they were inside like a plastic casing.
Yeah.
And you'd slide that whole plastic casing into the unit, into the console.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember watching in like drama class Family Guy on a PSP, using a headphone splitter. And I'm sure the quality was like 144p or something.
Yeah.
Like it's probably awful.
Horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the time, I'm like, we can watch movies anywhere.
On a PSP. Yeah.
On a PSP.
It's a new day.
Living in
the future. Sony. I remember getting like a portable DVD player in like 2002 and being like, woo.
Yeah,
the world is my oyster.
I remember in high school getting the I think it was senior year in high school, getting the iPhone video or the iPod video.
Yeah.
And being like, look, and I would rip my DVDs and put them on that. And when you think back to like how small that screen was, the irreparable damage to my corneas trying to watch Mission Impossible 2 on that
What have I achieved exactly?
I achieved the ability to go to school and be like, look, I can watch Mission Impossible.
I've got a movie. What do you got? Fucking Digimon?
Let me turn it up. Here's the volume. Hold on, let me hit the hold button so I don't accidentally press buttons.
My first iPod was a Nano.
Really?
Yeah, it would fit in that little weird pocket in my jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was my first one. My brother's. So this is true to how you know me to be. I'm tend to be late to trends because I'm sort of stubborn. Like I assume everything is a fad.
Sure.
Until until I realize like, oh no, it's not a fad.
Yep.
So like I'm closer to getting TikTok than I ever have been because I'm sort of like, oh, it's gonna stay.
Yeah.
But like my brothers both had, I think my younger brother had like an iPod mini, which is like, I loved the shape of the iPods. I was like obsessed with like their manufacturer and like the whole unit itself. And I would see it like in movies. Like I saw it in some movie where it's being used as a storage device. Oh, it's like Runaway Jury. Yeah. Around the same time. Like it was there. It was like used as a hard drive in there or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I loved it and I didn't want to get one because I was like, because my friend Sydney and I would burn CDs all the time. I was like, I have all these burned CDs. I can just burn a CD.
Right.
And they were like, what if you want to listen to like 1,000 songs? I was like, why do I want to listen to 1,000 songs? I've got 12 right here that I love on this CD I burned.
Yeah, right.
Half of which were like Celebrity Jeopardy and stuff. And like, or like weird, or like the Pokemon soundtrack or something.
Yeah.
And so then my younger brother got like a mini for Christmas, which was like, smaller and they were smooth on the sides. And then I think my older brother got one. And then like after like 2 years of just watching him use it and like, just sort of realizing like, oh yeah, it probably doesn't skip, does it?
Yeah.
And you can just add songs to like, this is the whole iTunes thing. And I broke down. I was like, okay, I want one.
All right.
And then it was like, hey, we got the Nano. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. And then that Nano was the same thing on which I started listening to podcasts.
Oh, cool.
In like 2006.
Yeah.
Which, at the time I was an early adopter of that. That was like a new thing.
Yeah.
I listened to a show called the Garrett Murray podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny that you bring this up. So I was talking to my wife about this just recently, and we were talking about like what life was like in high school and like where did we fit in high school, Yeah. And like I was like the weird thing about
that a lot lately.
Yeah, I was like the weird thing about high school for me, and I think that's probably true for a lot of like artistic people in the South. My core friend group, as we grew up, they started to like splinter and become into different things. Mm-hmm. And so I like picked up on a lot of those different hobbies and just kind of like skated the middle so that I could fit into any of these groups that I wanted to. But I never really had like anybody that seemed to be into my things. It was like I was into everybody else's things.
You became an expert masker like me.
Yeah, pretty much. And like, but it not necessarily in a bad way. Like, I don't think I was faking it. I think I was putting in a genuine effort into trying to like.
I'm not sure anymore when it comes to me, but anyway.
Yeah, sure. I feel like I was putting in a genuine effort into
this is my
like
cry for help.
This podcast brought to you by therapy.
Please help me. Please help me discover who I am. I spent 12 years on this show really trying to understand myself, and I'm no closer to doing so.
But like, I was talking about how when I remember specifically in senior year, I had burned a CD. I was listening to it in like on the ride in, and I had friends in the car, and they were all like giving me grief because what was on the CD was just like movie scores. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I had to pull that out and put like Snow Patrol in or Jack Johnson. Like, okay, everybody, I can be into your thing, whatever it is.
Snow Patrol.
Sure, Sum 41, whatever it was. And like when I got to college, it was like I didn't know what everybody was into. So the only thing, because I didn't know anybody, so the only thing I could do was be into what I was into.
Yeah.
And so then I started to find those people like yourself who also had CDs with movie scores on them and understood like, I remember, I don't remember if Kellen was previously into this or I got him into this, but like sophomore year, I was really into one specific track from Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders.
I was thinking like, I was trying to anticipate what you're going to say. And in no
it wasn't
world
that.
was it that. Yeah.
It was not that. And
I thought you were going to say like, you know, it's Batman Begins or.
Right. Nope. It's that. And like no one in high school would have ever like, and I wouldn't have said anything, but like, I remember
no,
putting
nor
it on.
should you. You should keep that to yourself.
I should have never said a word, but like, I mentioned it to Kellen and either he knew about it or he didn't, but but by the end of listening to it once, we were both like, do it again. And like, we were like, play it again, Sam. And so like, you know, it was one of those things where like, you just kind of like find your people or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forget how we got onto that other than just,
oh yeah. Yeah. It's one of the best feelings in the world, to find your people like that, you know, to feel in sync with someone and it doesn't feel, you know, like such a chore, you know, but like so much of life is like trying to figure out like what, like we're social animals. And so like we are hardwired to like, to find ways to fit in with people. And some of us are so good at it that like, we don't care that it makes us uncomfortable until like 15 years later, you're like, oh, I hate this.
Yeah. Why did I do this?
I hate living this way. And now it's too late to change or whatever.
Yes. Yep.
And that's a very real thing. And certainly for a lot of people, it takes lots of therapy to unwind and to unlearn that kind of behavior. But it's so much a part of us. It's like, it's how we get into groups and maintain relationships and stuff, even though like it's so important to also not do that somehow.
It's true. But I think like creative, artistic people have like, there's something to be said for like, you know, the beat of your own drummer. It's like we have this internal clock that ticks that I don't know if other people have or if they do, they ignore it.
Yeah.
And in an effort, like you said, to like that craving to fit in or to belong or to have that community is so overwhelming that it
just kills your critical thinking.
It kills who you are. It kills that inner voice or whatever.
I wonder about that sometimes, man, because like I'll look at people like I went to high school with like on Facebook and I see their lives now. And there's a part of me that's like, you know, without knowing whatever context informs their choices or whatever, but like your first reaction is like, this is completely different. And of course, like, you know, when I knew you as a teenager and now you as an adult and a parent maybe, but like, you wonder because I feel I've also heard it said, I think other people think this too, but like, I think so many people just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to understand that because like, as someone who is the way I am, and as someone who also grew up watching movies where like that was a really bad thing to do, like going with the flow, like wake up,
Truman Show,
you're in the Matrix, you know, like that literally is the Matrix. Like after you watch the Matrix, you can't like look at the world around you and just sort of go, well, I guess this is just, I'll just do my thing. Like you go, oh, you just sort of question everything. And I guess, I don't know how other people watch the Matrix and then go, that was fun. Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, well, back to the grind.
Back to the office. You're like, aren't you curious? Like where, not about like simulation theory, but like, do you
not understand this as a metaphor?
Yeah.
What's a metaphor?
Yeah. Huh? I like when you dodged the bullets. Like, no, that was fucking awesome too. Yeah, that was great. But you know, the metaphor.
Dodging bullets like you're dodging those liberals. Let me just dodge this woke ideologies.
Just dodging wokeness and dodging diversity.
Look, that bullet's diversity, and that one's equity, and that one's inclusion. Oh.
Switch? Is that a trans person? The answer is it was supposed to be originally, but anyway. Diversity, equity. I'm just picturing like crudely keyframed text over the bullet trails in that shot. You know, like someone made it on, you know, Giphy or something.
Yeah, right. Yes.
I'm gearing up. I think I've got some people I'm going to be showing some movies to for the first time coming up, and I'm so excited about it because like it's just I guess I'm changing subjects, but like just to, I've told you like one of the reasons like my guilty pleasure is those reactor videos. Yeah, because I really get a lot out of watching people discover movies for the first time. Yeah, because then you just go because you know that's actually hard to come by now. Yes. And especially with movies that are good. Like I was talking to someone the other day, and I was asking them like, do you like movies? And they said like, I feel like most movies today are just bad. And I was like, you don't say. You're not wrong. You know, I was like, I guess that's true. You know,
how astute.
Yeah. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Okay. Well, bye everybody.
There's just a long. I love that our episodes end with just a
long pause and oh, we should go.
We've overstayed our welcome.
we got to do. It's. I'm trying to avoid the Southern goodbye. The like. All right. Well, you know, and then we'll just stand and go by the door for a little bit.
I'm gonna let you go.
I should be heading out.
I'm gonna let you get out of here.
Should be making our way back.
I'm gonna get out of your hair. And the audience is dodging our new episodes like Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah. Oh, not listening to this.
I'm not gonna listen to that one. Oh.
But then we come up like Trinity and new episode right to your head.
An hour and 42 minutes.
I should animate that. Like, here's a new episode.
No.
Feels like getting shot in the face. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.